Welcome to this episode of The Good, The Bad and The Odd with your host, Michael Sam. Today we're talking about 1989's The Punisher. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, okay, so we've done two of The Punishers recently. We're going in reverse order, in fact. We did Warzone first, then we did the 2004 Punisher. Now we're back to the 1989 Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. Now, it's one we've both watched before. I've watched it several times. So, what do you think of it?
I think it's still a pretty good film.
It's fun, isn't it? It always makes me laugh. It made me laugh recently with Deadpool. You know, they're saying Deadpool, the first R-rated Marvel superhero. And you think, first it was this film. This film was the first R-rated Marvel film. But there's also been Blade as well. So, nah, I don't think so. Anyway, Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. What do you think? How does he stack up to the other two?
I think he's got the sort of mopiness about him more than the other two have, because Punisher does a lot of sort of sitting about.
Yeah.
Because, he's still in mourning, and there's several points in this film where it's clear he's just sort of like, he's sort of torturing himself in essentially.
Yeah.
Like the bit where he cauterizes his wounds. There's clearly far better ways you could do that. He's just doing that to himself.
He's doing that almost to have some sort of feeling.
Yeah.
He's kind of dead inside, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the only thing that brings him alive is the thought that children might be suffering. That's what it feels like. It's kind of, given this is a cheap film, in effect, it's pretty well done. The stuff underground, where he's going through the sewers.
He's just shooting through the sewers on his motorbike.
It's kind of cool. Very cool. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it is cool. And that bike is actually pretty cool, too.
Yeah, it's like a big, I don't even know what you call it.
Harley,
it's like a Harley sort of thing.
I mean, it's when you see some films where the motorbikes are really poorly done, such as the Judge Dredd films, you think, just do it on one of these, for goodness sakes. It'd be way cool.
You don't need to make it some big fancy thing like in the last one with a really weird front. Just a big Harley and you're set.
I think out of the three Punisher actors playing the Punisher, I still think Thomas Jane's actually the closest to Frank Castle, but I have to say the other two are still pretty good.
Yeah, I think this one's best as Punisher.
He's very physical. He can move, can't he?
He gets involved in everything. It's like he gets in fist fights, he gets put in torture devices, everything. And he doesn't mess about sort of things. He's not hanging from chandeliers and spinning, and he's not putting ice on dudes' backs. He just stabs them and gets it done with.
Yeah, he's very...
Or just ties him to a rack and leaves it running while he leaves.
Yeah. The fact he does get on with things and just kills people quickly feels much more Special Forces than the more theatrical Punisher stuff we see.
And that is very much the Punisher in the comics. He'll kill someone with a toothpick, just jab him.
Yeah.
I think there's one really funny one where he gets a guy through the ear with a toothpick and kills him.
Wow, that sounds more like Bullseye. What's his name? Bullseye, yeah.
Bullseye.
I'm kind of... Obviously, I mean, Punisher's also turning up in the new Daredevil season 2 as well.
As an antagonist.
I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, they occupy the same space, don't they? Daredevil and Punisher.
Low-level New York is like a sort of haven for the more brutal heroes.
Yeah.
So you get stuff like Punisher, Daredevil, Moon Knight.
Well, you don't really get more brutal than the Punisher, though.
Yeah, Punisher's the only one that really does not care.
Yeah, it's always hard to have an antagonist for a Punisher because it kills them. You couldn't have a Joker, for example.
The only one I could feasibly sort of get as an antagonist would be... But the thing is, if they'd be sort of a decent antagonist to Punisher, he wouldn't they'd be way too powerful for him to deal with at all.
Yeah.
It'd be stuff like Deadpool or Wolverine, and Wolverine has killed Punisher in the past.
Okay. I was thinking more someone like maybe Kingpin, who he just can't get to.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Punisher does that stuff.
Yeah, he does. He sniper
breaks into
if he needs to.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Anyway, let's get back to this
the film.
I mean, there are some
ninjas attack.
I mean, there are some cool moments. Let's just talk about some of the cool moments. There's where the ninjas come sliding down the fairground.
Yeah, and
slides,
there's a fight of them in Coney Island.
on a rotating table. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like this scene, which I think it takes the old Indiana Jones when he shoots the guy with a sword to the nth degree, where he actually opens up on a group of samurai in a room with an M16 or something, or a Kalashnikov, I don't know, whatever it is. It takes them all out. That's kind of funny. But that's a pretty good fight and good action, and I kind of like the main antagonist, the woman who was the head of the Yakuza. I thought she was quite good.
Yeah, but she went a bit sort of mustache twirly towards the end.
She
was
definitely.
Like,
Yeah, definitely. And her sidekick, who was like a new
adopted daughter
ninja type, that was silly. That was a bit silly. She could fight though. She seemed to be able to move.
Yeah, and she had these weird earrings that she'd like pull off and stab people with. Bizarre.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And they did like killing the mafia, basically.
Yeah.
But I also liked the Punisher's. Well, I don't know what you call him, informant, sidekicky guy. Shake, wasn't it? Shake, his name? I can't remember. The Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
Type who was like
he'd rhyme every line.
He was very Dr. Seuss, bizarre. Yeah. And the mafia guy was pretty good. It was played by Jerome Crabb, I think his name is. He was once a bad guy in a James Bond film called The Living Daylights. He was quite good as the mafia guy that came from overseas to look after the family after the Punisher killed everyone.
Yeah,
pretty much. It was kind of fun. How do you rate it in terms of the other two films?
I think I like this one the best, actually.
I have to say, I've always liked this one way, way more than the Thomas Jane one. The Thomas Jane one suffered badly from the plot and John Travolta, really.
Yeah.
It just was... He wasn't given a Punisher kind of things to do.
Yeah, they were kind of trying to be a bit too filmy with it, where he'd like have Western
Hollywood.
He had almost a Western style shootout with two guys at one point.
Yeah,
and Punisher really does not do that. He does stuff like at the end where he like ties into a car and lets it roll off into a petrol fire. Sort of
well, the fact he spent a lot in that film, spent a lot of time sort of setting up a revenge.
Yeah, it was too much
just killing people.
Yeah,
that didn't feel very passionate. Though Warzone went completely the other way.
Yeah,
it was completely bananas. I think I got a slight preference for Warzone now because it is so bananas and entertaining. But I really still like this one a lot. I just watching it again. I wanted to. It was my favourite, and I was thinking, oh yeah, Warzone's good, but this is still my favourite. I've got a slight preference for Warzone now. Though it's close. It's close.
Yeah.
I also kind of like the cop trying to find him, Lou Gossett Jr. trying to find him.
Yeah.
Though he really, he was like acting like it was a serious drama. He was not messing about with his acting.
No.
It wasn't melodramatic. It was proper. It was like it was a proper drama.
He was taking it seriously.
Yeah, he was. He was really putting in a good performance as well.
Yeah.
And I think Dolph Lundgren, who's not a great actor, gave a really good performance in this. Yeah. It really worked. It was kind of a downbeat Punisher, but it worked. In the same way Arnie's Conan worked, because he just had that sort of physical
I think
presence.
it's because the character is so sort of blunt with what he does.
Yeah.
Same with Conan, really.
Yeah, he looked good as the Punisher. And there were some nice flourishes. There was a bit where he was going through the sewers. It was a close-up of his face. Yeah. And as he went, the lights went over his head, so he kept falling into darkness, and you could see like a skull motif on his face for where his stubble was. It wasn't like it was made up with a skull. It was just...
No.
But they made... The art direction was such that they made that a sort of subtext.
Yeah.
And it's kind of... I really like his monologues where he's talking about God.
That's something... that's kind of something the Punisher does, but it's more usually about how he's going to kill a guy. Sort of thing. He's not doing his like I ask God when I should stop sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's more like, well, I've got this set up here. You've seen it in Welcome Back, Frank, where he's talking about like polar bears and stuff.
Yeah, he thinks to himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I do like the weird, like I ask God if I should stop. He doesn't answer.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't want me. There's all this mad, really mental stuff. Actually.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy this, I have to say, yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any. I'll see if I can dig out any other factoids about it. Hold on, let's have a look. What do you think it might be on IMDb? Any ideas?
Oh, I know it's got like really bad sort of reviews.
5.6 is
wow. That's way too low.
That's way too low. It is way too low. Good acting, good script. Given it was a quite limited budget, I think they put together a really quite good action film.
Wow, it was only 9 million.
Wow. It was. I'd say up until the new MCU stuff, it was probably one of my favourite Marvel films.
Yeah, I'd
possibly
say
my favourite Marvel.
I wasn't really that big a fan of all the X-Men stuff up until like the 60s.
Well, I really liked X2 actually.
I thought they were taking it a bit too seriously because they were being really sort of melodramatic about blue men and people with wings and that sort of thing.
I know what you mean.
But once it got to Days of Future Past and
the strength in the first few was really Magneto and Professor X. Really, Wolverine was pretty good too. And Jean Grey as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure about the rest. Not a fan of like Halle Berry Storm, for example. I like the fact the film starts with the Punisher having a record of 125 kills.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a proper Punisher setup.
So that is a kill count the Punisher actually laughs at, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can believe that. There's some bad reviews for this film as well. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 28% approval rating, but Rotten Tomatoes stinks on ice, so I don't really care about that. I think it was a pretty
Rotten Tomatoes like a compilator sort of thing where it gets all of them?
Yeah, it's very rough. It's very rough anyway. I like one particular reviewer, which was the TV Guide's movie guide, gave it 3 out of 4 stars, saying Lundgren's portrayal was comparable to the characterization of the Punisher in this was comparable to Frank Miller's Batman in Dark Knight Returns. That's kind of high praise.
Wow.
And it says the film's atmosphere was genuinely comic book like rather than cartoonish. I kind of agree with that. I mean, when we get ninjas sliding down slides, it's not realistic action, but it was realistic enough.
It was very much the Punisher though. So.
Yeah, it wasn't Tom and Jerry cartoonish. It was comic book cartoonish. I know. Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. What would you give it out of 10 then?
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 too. Yeah, great film. Right, so that caps off our run of Punisher movies. So I should have said at the beginning the Good, the Bad, and the Punisher actually, and because of course we've done the other two. We may come back to the Punisher at some point because he's going to be in season 2 of Daredevil, which I'm sure we'll get to. So that'd be kind of cool. One other thing I think we talked about when we talked about the 2004 one. There is a really good short with Thomas Jane called Dirty
Laundry Day.
Is it Laundry Day?
I can't remember.
I think it's Dirty Laundry, but it might be Laundry Day. You might be right. But it's a short with Thomas Jane recapping the Punisher. Much closer to the real Punisher than the film with Thomas Jane, actually.
It's Dirty Laundry.
It's really worth digging out and finding.
Oh, wow, that was made by the guy that did the gritty Power Rangers thing.
Oh, cool. There is some interesting fan fiction, fan-made stuff coming out lately. Apparently there's a few Predator ones that are worth seeing.
I did see...
and there's loads of Star Trek ones, apparently. I haven't seen any of them, but... anyway, we're getting off the point.
I mean, I guess Star Trek would be more simple to do than, Predator. But...
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And apparently there's a Batman one called Ripper, where Batman and Jack the Ripper or something. Anyway. My favourite one, I think, so far is Batman versus Darth Vader. And I can't remember what... Google Batman.
Just because he pulls out a lightsaber, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, it's Batman and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Okay, then. I think we'll call this one a day. Bye from me.
Bye.